Pandemonium Reigns.
The 2024 Tennessee Orange and White Spring Game is officially part of history. It's in the books. In summary, it's a lot like the other ones. But we did get to see a lot of new names and feed into the excitement that is going to be the 2024 season. And this episode, we're just going to talk about it, man. We're just going to hang out. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to stare at Michael's pretty face. I'm going to look at them rosy cheeks, and I'm just going to daydream, and we're just going to have a jolly good time talking about the 12-0 Tennessee Volunteers, because it's coming. Undefeated national champions. They're going to be the first national champion of the 12-team playoff. Get over it. I don't care what you think. And that's my overreaction.
In summary, I agree, and I think we just finished this episode. Does that go with you?
Boom! God bless. Go Vols.
Go Vols! No. Hey, you know what? I'm willing to say this. Having been there, you and I, last year, baking in Neyland Stadium last April, 2023, it was a little bit more entertaining. You know, we had a few more bodies available, a few more willing players, players willing to suit up, able bodies, healthy, what have you. Obviously, some dudes sat out. Squirrel Watt did, cool, whatever. I mean, he's borderline wide receiver one value for this team, so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan Sampson, his job is as safe as anybody's that I know. So, yeah, cool. I'd like to know where he's at with picking up pass rushers, edge rushers, guys that leak through the middle, what have you. We'll see that probably early on this season. But, yeah, we had some more able bodies. We had some more passing of the football, whatever the combination was, whether it was who's healthy, who's not healthy, who's behind QB1 this year, whatever it was. We had more of it. We have a lot more. We got more team speed. We got more explosion.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
I love the shape that this roster overall, the 85-ish, what have you, is taking, man. I love the shape that it's taking. I like the guys that they target. I trust the guys that they target. The more that I see things like Saturday and, overall team speed, the size of certain dudes, specifically maybe some of the linebackers and some of the trench guys. I love the way that they're being molded, and just a little bit more exciting than what we saw last spring, I would say.
Yeah. I'm going to say this is the deepest we've been across the board in 2 decades.
A long, hot minute, man. I mean,
2006, maybe.
You're probably right. I mean, because you'd have to nitpick to argue against that. I think you'd have to nitpick.
Let's be truthful here. Like 2022, we were carried.
Yeah.
Hooker, Hyatt, the running game carried. 21, 7-5, not deep. The Pruitt era, no. Butch Jones, 8-4 in 15 and 16, carried by the starters.
Yeah, and significant drop-offs in your depth. Even though you had some depth,
yes,
it was holes here and there that kept you.
We saw that in 2017 because there was no development at the 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Dooley era, and that's just obvious, no. And then you go Kiffin in 09, no. And then 08 was bad large part because of the offense. There's talent there. 07, we won the East, so maybe 07.
Maybe, yeah.
We had some, I think about the balanced attack that we were. Legit on the defensive side, but I mean, seriously, you have to go back to the mid 2000s, right, to say, man, we've deepest we've been, and is that a tribute to the to the place that we are now, or it's just been that bad?
Well, it is both, because the truth is, and look, I'm gonna say this staff has the minor luxury because we're getting to the point where the portal is not hurting us as bad as it did off the bat. It's helping us more than it's hurting us now. We've lost some guys. We're going to talk about Elijah Herring in this episode a little bit, and maybe the linebacker room is the bigger conversation there. But we're in a place where we're finally getting some help, getting some depth, and potentially getting some star power out of the transfer portal versus how much it decimated the team at the start of this era. But, I mean, yeah, I think you have to go back to that point where it's the combination of high school talent. Man, it's got to be getting to a really good spot of an average low 4-star. I would say high 3-star, low 4-star has got to be the average now. The blue chip rate, if you tune into that type of thing, it's only trickling up. The classes are getting better. The transfer pieces are getting better. I mean, I was thinking about this at one point since Saturday, I'm going to say, because I'm just thinking about what I saw. Think about Javonte Payton, for example. Okay. He's a receiver that left Mike Leach's offense, and probably because he wasn't one of their top 3 or 4 receiver options or whatever, right?
Was Leach there in 2020?
Maybe not. Maybe he wasn't, actually.
I don't know that he was.
He probably wasn't, actually. They had the guy that was Oregon's offensive coordinator. He's been Oregon's offensive coordinator. He was a really well thought of offensive coordinator, and I can't think of his name right now. We beat him in 2019. He was Mississippi State's head coach then, but I can't remember when they fired him.
The Penn State guy. The Penn State guy. Yeah. He's a well thought of coordinator. Didn't work out as a head coach. We've seen that story many times before. Yeah.
But anyway, I was thinking about Javonte Payton, for example, right? I mean, a guy that wasn't getting it done or didn't like what he was hearing or seeing at Mississippi State. We didn't know the guy. We didn't know him because of his star rating coming out of high school. I think we looked at him at that time, but just kind of an unknown. Well, now we're starting to get into bigger territory. Chris Brazzell, highly sought after out of the portal. Lance Hurd. I mean, Lance Hurd has the potential to be the biggest transfer we've landed since – help me, legit help me. Alvin Kamara, the impact, the left tackle position.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's got to be Kamara. I think he has a potential to be a huge, huge piece. I mean, if he's even in the ballpark of like a poor man's, and he's going to play the other side of the offensive line, but if he's like a poor man's Darnell Wright, if we can get back to some version of 2022's offensive line that gave Hendon time to go down the field and scan everything, we're only getting a position where the guys coming in are better than we've seen. And we've seen some big names come in. Will they translate now, I think, is obviously another question.
Yeah. I mean, you're just validating that it's the deepest it's ever. And I think your point with Hurd there is, we're in competition with these big name schools, for these guys. So that's just massive. And you mentioned Herring, and I think that's a great segue.
Yeah.
Herring, a lot of people are looking at that going, oh my gosh, why is he leaving? He led the team in tackles. Well, let's just talk about that for a second, because arguably in a perfect world, he wouldn't have gotten as much playing time as he got last year because Beasley basically limped through the season and Keenan Pili played game 1 and we never saw him again. And so that obviously that thrust him into starting action, and something happened to Arian Carter along the way.
Yeah.
So, but now, I mean, you and I have said this 1,000 times. Now you're going, all right, well, Jeremiah Telander. And did anybody see Edwin Spillman on Saturday? The potential for this kid is through the roof. If you saw him on Saturday, press the like button and hit subscribe. He shot out of a cannon on his sack. You pointed out that he's probably going to be a impact special teams player early in his career. I would love to see games where we get up and he can get some time. This guy's, and this is not even a freshman that you and I mentioned on the preview episode.
No.
So
because we don't like, you and I agree on this. You don't like the idea of, holy crap, a freshman at linebacker until you get to the point of a game where, hey, we're up, let's get him the reps that he's going to need because, well, one, he's going to be potentially undeniable with that speed. If he can control that, know where to go, where to be. I mean, sure, if he's a blitzing linebacker that's that explosive, give me that. Yes. But to harness that and actually use it the way you want it to be used, it's not a fun idea to think about for a freshman. But
right.
Yeah, he's going to be undeniable at times with that speed. I mean, if there's an injury, you love that he has that speed. And yeah, we wouldn't even be talking about Elijah Herring leading 2023 Tennessee in tackles if Peely's healthy, if Beasley's healthier.
Bingo.
If I think Carter sustained a bicep injury or an upper arm injury at some point. He like you said, obviously hit a wall, had an injury, something happened. But You love the way that he exploded late in his recruitment. Everybody wanted him. The stories about what it took to beat Alabama for him are great.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Spillman looks like, at the minimum, he looks like a potential someone with the potential of Jalen Reeves-Maben on special teams and potentially on the field at some point as a regular.
Man, you're gonna get me all hot and heavy because you said Jalen Reeves-Maben, and that's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah,
I see a lot in that. I mean, and also what stuck out to me regarding Spillman was his size. Like he doesn't look like an average 18-year-old, senior in high school. He
he
looks
sure
thicker
doesn't.
than this. And now he's not Arian Carter by any means or Keenan Peely by any means, but he's thicker than I anticipated. And
Yeah, and
then, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, interesting with Spillman with Caleb Beasley. Those guys are the first early enrollees from in their high school's history. Like they got some sort of special permission, or they made it to where is it Brentwood Academy? I actually don't know. MBA, one of the big outfits in Nashville. They are the first two, to my knowledge, early enrollees out of that high school in terms of seniors going on to do this. And also they didn't get here when your average early enrollee got here because it changed
first
this
day
time.
was day one of spring.
Yeah, like think about that. If he's not been here for the development, the winter lifting. He missed all that stuff. He's a true potential freak coming out of high school. Just basically is what he is. Arriving on the first day of spring, missing the workouts, and
yes,
I mean the meetings that take place, all that stuff.
Yes.
Day one of spring is all he's had so far.
Yes. So you talk about the linebacker room, and then you could just start to get excited about the front seven altogether because the linebacker room is deep, and then you've got all the pieces that Rodney Garner can play with. I mean, I can easily right now spit off 12 names that are going to play.
Yeah.
Going to play. And
the rotation there is going to be next level for especially 2007, 6-ish, because like we've talked about, when you had a Barnett coming off, you had one other guy. You had one other guy at maximum in a season. Yeah. And now there's options potentially galore.
You went from Derek Barnett to LaTroy Lewis.
Yeah. I mean,
now you're going James Pierce to Caleb Herring.
Josh Josephs is going to get in.
Josh Josephs, yeah. So, and all the defensive tackles and the Stanford transfer,
thick Jackson Moy.
Yes, I couldn't think of the first name. Jackson, dude, he's going to make an impact. He's going to make plays.
He's thick. Omar Norman Locke coming back. I love that.
Yes,
I love his aggression, his kind of motor that we've seen. Tyree West taking more steps. David Hobbs taking steps. Oh yeah, you bring back like the football teams, Santiago Vescovi and Josiah Jordan James and Amari Thomas. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like the pieces for Rodney Garner are astounding.
And if you can create havoc and pressure with the front seven, that makes the secondary's job easier. And this is what we saw 22 to 23. There was a jump there in pass rush, whatnot. So front seven on defense has got me all kind of nipple hard. I mean, I can't believe I just said that.
No, I mean, but for real, it's been years since we've seen the depth and the potential pieces there. It's just exciting. Perfect to transition from veterans at safety, a couple veterans at corner. It's a perfect transition to take the step there or to have the pieces there to guide in. Ricky Gibson as a starter, Jermod McCoy to the SEC, two new safeties. I mean, you just name it. And guys that have played but starters that are new, that's what you want.
Yep.
You want to be able to rotate the bodies in the trenches alone. When you get into the third quarter, when a team is having success, you've got different guys you can throw. You've got different pitches in the bag, so to speak. You've got different tools in the belt.
Yes. And that front three just caused all kinds of problem for that injury riddled offensive line. There's a lot of twos getting snaps there, and I'm just hoping that doesn't crush the confidence of some of those guys, but it makes them better. And I'll
Yeah,
tell you this, another thing that I'm excited about that I wasn't anticipating, our tight end situation. That's better than I thought.
it is better, man, because I don't know that anybody talked about, and I'm going to skip Holden Stays for a minute, but and boy does he look good. But his body, his build, does that look good? But I thought of Kitzelman as a blocker, dude. I thought of him
Yes.
as a maybe you do some things like you always had Jacob Warren in kind of as an extra offensive line. But yeah, he's going to catch some passes here and there. I didn't think about him being a potential weapon, and I don't know that anybody talked about him being that way, but I'm going to say he's got some real upside for this team's purposes.
Yeah, which is exciting because, when he came in, it was like, oh, an Alabama transfer. Who is this guy?
Yeah,
Whatever. Oh, he's just going to add depth to he's another body in the tight end room, creating time.
which we needed. Yeah, which we needed.
I mean, at this rate, if the spring game is any kind of indicator and the spring overall, he's going to play and he's going to contribute.
Absolutely. And maybe he's the guy that fits the if we want to continue having a Princeton fan and a Jacob Warren or Jacob Warren and McAllen Castles and learn how to use them, be able to get the ball to them earlier. Maybe that's what this is. I do believe. I think it's like a foundational principle of the staff is they want two solid contributing tight ends or the option of them. They don't want just one. They I don't know what they want beyond that. We haven't even talked about Ethan Davis and what he could be as the build of a large receiver, a small tight end, that the weapon that he could be. We haven't even really seen that much, but I think it's a foundational principle of this staff. That's something they're going to have if they get the opportunity to.
Oh, for sure. So I'm uber excited about tight end, and then receivers and Razzle. He's going to be a problem. He looks so. Now I'm going to contrast this. He looks so comfortable with the ball in his hands.
Dude,
He looks so. He like this. The flashes of Hyatt with rocking the 11. Of course, we know that he's going to change to 17 come the fall, but put or left that corner in smoke as well.
just one of the most fluid guys that I've seen, especially for someone his height. Obviously, he's got the speed to go with it. I know where you're going because we've talked about it, but the weight, I mean, he shouldn't move that comfortable, I don't think, being as big as he is. I mean, it's almost some shades of Justin Hunter as well. With you mentioned Hyde, I'm going to say Justin Hunter because of how well he could move. Now, his was more of a straight line speed. He wasn't going to juke you out of your shoes, and who knows what Brazel will do. It's a long time still to the season, but so fluid, looks so comfortable, impossible not to be excited because, go ahead.
Because Dante Thornton still, you saw progression. You saw a better Dante Thornton, but he still looks uncomfortable with the ball in his hands. Like he just doesn't know what to do, or he's walking for the first time. Now, on his routes, I thought it was more crisp and there was a little bit more comfortability there. Ball in his hands, though, I think we only saw it once or twice, but it just didn't look natural for him.
Yeah, I mean, and it is so weird to see the contrast of those two, Brazel and Thornton, on the same team sometimes. But yeah, I mean, he just looks more robotic, for maybe lack of better words. He just doesn't move as freely or as functional. I don't know exactly what the best way to say it is, but there's a stiffness. I think that's probably the term. A stiffness that you don't see in Brazel, that you didn't see in Hyatt in 2022 and some of those other guys that we talked about and what they remind you of.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's Mike Matthews.
Oh my gosh, dude. Hey, okay. Tell me how look, obvious receiver catching potential. The blocking, we've seen it in his high school film, but I mean, Dayton Sneed, I know it's a spring game, needs to thank Mike Matthews for the blocking on that play. I think that's something that's just ingrained in him, like a dog mentality, perhaps, that we're going to see develop down the years. Tell me how you're going to keep that guy off the field in 2024. And I don't mean like, oh, we're up by 21, let's get Matthews in. Like, how are you going to keep him off the field in crunch time?
Oh, for sure. This is what makes me wonder, because what we've done is we get hot with three and we just continue with the three at the receiver position. Now we're just so deep. Are you really going to are you going to keep him off the field? Because we know it's Squirrel and we know that it's Brew and we're pretty confident on that third one. And my God,
Well,
help me.
I mean, look, you got to think it's Brazel or Thornton. You got to think
Brazel. Yeah, there it is.
And
it's going to be Brazel. If it's Thornton over Brazel, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, same. And I was going to say this team loves Thornton, and they feature him in a lot of social media things. They think really highly of him, and maybe there's more to it that we'll see outside of spring. But I would be shocked if it's Thornton over Brazel, just for what we're saying alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
and then
how could you keep it at 3 when you got Mike Matthews, you got Staley that's made all kinds of buzz as a spring contributor, again, a freshman in spring, all kinds of buzz there.
And your juniors, Caleb Webb and Chaz Nimrod.
Chaz Nimrod has caught touchdowns for you on the field. He's made plays for you on the field. How are you going to decide on 3 and roll with 3? I mean, you would to me, this is what you're saying if you do this. We like these guys so much that we're going to figure it out after them and counter the transfers that we're going to lose. And now I think you're going to lose a transfer in spring. I think part of that's going to work itself out right now because yesterday was the day, I believe. It could be today, the day of this recording. The portal's open, and I think some of it's going to work itself out. But you're going to lose more if you lock into 3, and you're going to have guys, if they're bought in coming in, they're not going to be bought in because they see the writing on the wall. So you tell me, you're saying you're okay with that, and you're going to reload after is what you'd have to be saying. To we got a 3-4-man rotation, and we're cool with it.
I mean, I know you got to. If you're moving change, you have to stick with 3. Once you sub, defense gets the sub. So, but what do you do in the following drives? And man, I'm excited.
Yeah, dude.
All that positivity is going to come with some friction and like you're saying, and playing time and potential transfers and whatnot. And I would just want to repeat what we said on the preview. As far as a guy like Caleb Webb, it's one of 2 things. It's either going to come together this year and he's going to be a contributor, or he's going to be in the portal.
Yes. If he wants to play the sport, if he wants to pursue it, that's the options. I mean, if he's cool.
I think he can play. I think he can play at a handful of other schools in this conference.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think about him. The direction I was going to go, and I think they came in together or a year apart, was Jimmy Callaway. I mean, we saw all the potential in the world in that guy. And then he drops a mesh crossing the field in Gainesville, and it's over. I don't think about Caleb Webb that way. I know the potential that Callaway had. It's still not come to fruition. It didn't at Louisville, I don't believe. It's still not happened. So don't go that route is what I'm saying. Like, if it's not going to work out in Tennessee, go make it work somewhere.
Well, I want to be 2 different personalities. I don't know that they're the same person.
They do. But the potential's there for both those guys is the thing. And I don't want to see it go the route of like a Jimmy Callaway for Caleb Webb because I think it's there. He's obviously got the acrobatic catches down. I mean, maybe we just need to throw it to him at like George Pickens level where he can go turn a backflip and catch it.
Yeah.
But I want to see it like on a regular basis, man. I know you do too, but
yeah,
it's there.
I mean, in my mind, if you've seen his high school film and the things that he's capable of doing, you got to have this bit of like a Mahomes mentality, like bump it. Webb's down there somewhere.
Yeah. I think
he strikes me as that kind of receiver.
I think that's it, man.
He can go up to make a play. So
absolutely.
And then, so without even doing this intentionally, we're just kind of making our way around all these position groups. You make your way into the backfield, and the only thing that I can't figure out, and I texted you this, is why Dylan Sampson dressed.
Yeah.
But didn't do anything else other than filled the opening kick. If you're trying to stay healthy, why dress?
I don't know.
Get it.
And also, surely this he won't be, put into the kick returning or the punt returning duty with him being what he is to this team. Maybe I don't know. I got nothing for that. I could see him because I think he is one. Look, he's a leader, I think. So maybe he's like, I'm going to be dressed out there with my guys. I don't know if it's something like that. I do think he's got all the leadership ability in the world. You see him talking to the team in videos all the time. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's that. I can't put a finger on it. It seems like you could do that without dressing out or wasting your time, but I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see maybe in the future. Who knows?
I don't know. Well, the positive side of that is we got to see a lot of Khalifa Keith, and we got to see a lot of Deshaun Bishop. and I'm excited for these two. Keith runs behind his pads, really, really well. He runs low, and he's thick with like 7 C's, thick, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. I would imagine we'll see him in some third short down and distances where it's third and short, just because of his frame, and with the offensive line potentially being an issue, I can see that as an option. But I'm going to throw something out there to you, and this is really just going to be a pipe dream because we got it once last year. We wanted so bad. Get D Williams some touches, right? Get him some offensive
Yep.
touches. I'm already calling for it. I want Boo Carter to get touches.
I'm right there.
He's a dog.
Dude, I'm right there with you. Hey, we're gonna make our way, or I know we're literally, like you said, looping the roster. That's what we're doing right now. We're making our way. We'll get to defense in a minute, probably. Offense is this exciting, yes. I want to see it too. We didn't get to see enough of it with D Williams. I think it would have helped D Williams' career 1,000% to get him some touches because, he might actually be like Devin Hester's, unknown son or something like that. We'll never know. We'll never know in college. Maybe we'll know in the NFL someday. I doubt it because he didn't get all the opportunities in the world. If you're thin on offense and Boo Carter is not a starting defender yet, why not? Dude, why not?
Why not?
He is so dynamic with the ball. Just pull up any footage of him with the ball ever. You'll see that. He's a dog, like you're saying. I'm with you. I think he's going to be one of those absolute dynamite hits out of the state of Tennessee that we've seen that are vital to Tennessee's success. Mm-hmm. I'm with you, man. I want the ball in Boo Carter's hands. I want him carrying it, making dudes' ankles just weep. I need that.
Well, so not only that, is he electric with the ball, which is what D was. He was electric with the ball in his hands. But the reason I'm pointing this out and making this comparison with D is, if you notice Boo on the defensive side, he's just sticking his nose in there, dude. Fearless. Like, not afraid to come in and hit you. Now, D. Williams was obviously going to avoid the contact. Not great at breaking tackles, but great at not getting touched.
Okay? Yeah, dude.
Then there's Boo, who might, in when it's all said and done, as far as the return game, might be a better returner than D. Williams.
He's going to have every opportunity to be. He's going to have the opportunity to be one of those really special return. I mean, throw in whoever you want to throw in. When he's this special, this young, he's got the chance to be that. And I think whatever, opportunities, if they come on offense, are there as well.
Yeah. So I want it. Put it in my veins. Give me some Boo. Open the season. Open the 24 season with a Boo Carter, jet sweep or something of that nature. Yes. And then there's the QB battle going on in Knoxville. Nico falls to QB2 because Gaston Moore does his thing on spring day again. I just want to say this regarding Q's. We knew with Nico, so there's a lot. He threw a great ball to Nimrod, I believe, for the score. And then Gaston, there was a ball he put on a rope to Mike Matthews, stepped in through it, took a hit, led him. Mike Matthews makes a catch, and it's not even just like a crazy catch, but Gaston Moore hits him in stride. And I just wanted so bad for, do you remember Drew Lock 17, I think bowl game Texas? I was just wanting Gaston to give us one of those little flexes.
Yes.
I am Gaston, right? Slay the beast. And then Merklinger, who is not a statue.
Nope.
And apparently ran for a lot of yards in high school, according to the analysts and commentators on the Orange and White game. Had a rushing touchdown himself. I like his upside. The way he spins the ball, I like his upside.
I do too. I think we're going to get the situation that we anticipate in the quarterback room when we talk about 1 year of Nico backed up by Merklinger and George McIntyre. You see how long that took to come to my mind?
Gaston McIntyre?
Yeah. The battle there, the upside there to continue building on what you're doing without a drop off year, without this guy can't do it as well year, what have you, man. The opportunity is going to be, I think, what we're thinking for once. We dream up these positives in our minds that don't often come to fruition. This looks like one that could, because Mark Linger's mobility is going to create throws for him. It's going to create yards. He's going to pick up some yards on the ground. I'd be shocked if he doesn't, if he ever sees the field, because he's going to be surrounded, a sandwich between two stars coming in, one that's already doing his thing a little bit and one that's a senior in high school. Yeah. But dude, I don't anticipate a drop off there for once, and that's crazy.
Not at all. I mean, I was fighting this temptation to say, worst case scenario, Nico gets hurt for the season or whatever. I think you can seriously win 8 games with Gaston.
Dude, me too. And if Gaston, is he the product of someone that just comes in out of high school and is just in the system? Is that what he is?
I guess.
Or does he actually have another level that maybe belongs starting somewhere? It could be both. It could be a mixture. But he clearly knows what Josh Heupel wants to do. He knows how to spit the ball out
since Josh Heupel was in the womb. So
yeah, but I mean, other guys have been in systems for a long times, and it's never developed or never come to fruition. I mean, I think you could too. I think you could win 7-8 games with Gaston Moore. Maybe it's the weapons that we have with him finally. I don't know, but he ain't bad. And I think he can do his thing.
I wouldn't have said this with him last year. But I would say it this year just because of as we started out, the depth everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do too. I think you could win the games with him. I think he could go to select places and do his thing, man, because he's clearly got some juice there, or is just a gamer, spring gamer for sure. Yeah. But he's got an accurate arm. He knows when and where to get the ball out. I think it's safe to say, at least in this system, and I think that would translate several other places.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's Nico with a whopping, is it a syllable? With a whopping 6 syllables in his last name? I don't remember elementary school.
It is
education.
It is 6 syllables.
Yeah. Just doing the thing, man. Spinning the rock, like looking like a 5-star. So, and now he's obviously even more comfortable, going into his first season as a starter. I think the Iowa game was big for him, just to be able to know he was the guy and whatnot. And all this said, there's names that we haven't mentioned, like Cam Seldon and oh my gosh, the name's escaping me.
Peyton
Lewis. I mean, there's just names even like everywhere that when we're talking about the defensive front, we didn't say things like Elijah Simmons, and we didn't say things like Andre Turrentine, and so
names galore that get slightly overlooked or are just that ever so slightly buried, but are going to factor. I mean, Jason Jenkins has been talked about for 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
Opportunity is maybe an hour. Maybe he's like a now or never type of guy on the defensive line. I don't know, but a good piece that you want, someone that's well regarded when the time comes, because Rodney is not afraid to rotate those bodies. He's going to do that. Right. If you can do your assignment, you're getting in there. And that's what's maybe the most exciting about that defensive front, especially with the bodies that we talked about.
Yes. Yes. So let's begin to land this thing. Coming out of the orange and white game, you would say, man, this gets me the most excited.
It's got to be this staff, especially figuring out that receiver problem, which is a blessing, but the problem of who's it going to be and in what order and in what rotation with a guy like Nico throwing it to him. I mean, that's the one that gets me the most excited. I gravitate that way because, well, we've seen how explosive this offense can be when everything's clicking. And obviously, quarterback, receiver, offensive line all took a somewhat of a step. I don't know how big the step was. It was different for each position last year, and the pieces are there for it to step to the moon. I mean, this offense should have the potential to be another record breaker from the things we've already seen this staff do. So it's got to be the receiver. Again, I'm going to say problem. That's absolutely the biggest blessing ever, is the one that gets me the most excited, because that kept you back from being 9-10 win worthy again in the regular season in 2023. And I don't foresee the other changes, the personnel, whatever, being that type of a stumbling block. So I'm going to go with receiver and figuring that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say this. Tell me that the Iamaliava Brazel connection can't be as efficient as the Hooker Hyatt connection.
Yeah. I
Tell me
mean,
it can't.
and like when we say that, we're not saying that it's going to be 5 touchdown games everywhere. We're saying look at the season on the whole. And there was a clear connection in like every game. I mean, don't forget that Hyatt had the first touchdown of 2022. Like he obliterated a Bowling Green or a Ball State defender for that touchdown. He put him in a blender. Brazel looks like he can move that way. Nico is someone that can see the field really well. He's super accurate. He's going to know where to go with the football, I think. He's going to know what has the best chances of being the most explosive on a given play as he goes. So, yeah, I'm with you, man.
Isn't it wild how so similar Nico and Hendon are even as far as personality?
Yeah, dude. I mean, you see Nico I would love it if this is a culture thing that carries over during this staff's era. But you see Nico broing it up with Gaston Moore and Mark Linger when they make plays and do things, and you think about Hendon and Joe, and then Joe and Nico. I want that to carry over so bad. Put George McIntyre into that equation. I can't wait to see it. I think it only boosts those guys, their potential, their mentality, all of it. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah. It's exciting times on Rocky Top, man. It's been so long. The camp of misery has just set up shop in our homeland, and it's just exciting times, man. We got a potential here to be back to 41 points per game and whatnot with an improved defense, better than that 22 defense. And so, it's a ceiling for us is seriously 10-2. I know we're going to do a preview episode. It's seriously 10-2 ceiling with 11-1 not being crazy.
Not being crazy, man. And it's just a few things is all we need. It's not a laundry list anymore. Just a few things is all we need.
Yeah, yeah. So let the floodgates open up. Let it rip. Hang points on the board. Do big things. Until then, a lot of NCAA 14 is to be played until the new game comes out, until football season gets here. Just anticipating the excitement of opening up against UTC and then playing NC State and Charlotte. I can't wait. I can't wait to keep talking about these guys. We're going to do a preview episode soon, walking through the schedule and whatnot. But we are out of time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and tuning in. I have no idea when this is about to drop, so we love you guys. God bless. Go Vols.
GBO.
Pandemonium Reigns.